It's what rallying is all about. And day one of the Rally Great Britain delivered. So far, there's been no home field advantage for Richard Burns and Colin McRae. Instead, Petter Solberg is the best of the rest behind Marcus Grunholm. The pressure, however, is on. Solberg can finish second in the championship, but it's Ford's future, Marco Martin, who can wreck those plans. The muck and mud of the Welsh Hornets lie ahead on day two of the Rally Great Britain. Welcome to Wales in the final round of the World Rally Championship. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Round 14 of the series is the Rally of Great Britain, the traditional finish to the WRC season. Run entirely in Wales, the rally's based in the capital of Cardiff, with the stages in the forest to the northwest and a single service park on the outskirts of Swansea. Day one saw a number of drivers find out the hard way just how slippery the stages were.
Very, very slippery.
It almost certainly won't be a British driver who'll win this year. Richard Burns slid off the road on the first morning, and although he quickly got going again, his exhaust had been squashed, and he lost around a minute and a half as a result. Colin McRae ran into trouble even earlier in the rally. The first forestry stage saw McRae and co-driver Derek Ringer lose over a minute while stuck in a ditch.
It's going to take a miracle to get back in contention now.
Just about, yeah.
Others fared even worse. MotoGP world champ Valentino Rossi's first attempt at a WRC event ended on stage 2. Mechanical failure then forced ex-Formula One and IndyCar driver Mark Blundell to retire. One of the success stories of the first day was Walter's Arena, a new purpose-built spectator area, a rallying amphitheater, if you will, where thousands of fans are able to see their heroes. The day was dominated by the man who's already clinched the world title, Marcus Grunholm. Fastest on every one of the forestry stages which ran. The Finn calmly waved to our cameraman. He was that comfortable. The leader might be in a league of his own, but there's a thrilling battle for second place. Petter Solberg ended the day around 48 seconds down on Grunholm, but just 2.5 seconds behind the Subaru is the Ford Focus of Marco Martin.
You're ready for a big fight with Petter Solberg?
It's not going to be just Petter and me. It's Carlos is so close and everybody else. It's a long way to go.
At stake this weekend is second position in the Drivers' Championship. With both Richard Burns and Colin McRae outside the points, as things currently stand, Carlos Sainz will finish the season his run up to Grunholm. There's still a long way to go, of course. Going into day two, Solberg and Martin are battling for second position, while the men behind Sainz will also be determined to improve their positions on the leaderboard. McRae and Burns especially will want to climb into the top 6 to claim that second place in the championship. Well, there's also a lot at stake in the battle for the Manufacturers' Championship this weekend. Who can get the upper hand there? Day 2 kicks off when we come back.
Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Rally of Great Britain. Remember what I said about last night? The weather, it's going to closing, it's going to make things difficult. Today we've got almost perfect Rally GB conditions. We've got high cloud and we've got some sunshine out here, so of course that's going to play right into Marcus Grunholm's hands this morning. Today we've got 6 stages, 74 miles in total, with the longest stage of the event, which is the second longest in the World Championship at just under 34 miles, which is the first stage this morning, stage 8, Resolven. I think it's going to be very difficult for Colin McRae and Richard Burns to catch up on Marcus Grönholm. He has got a healthy lead. I can't see that diminishing. I'll bring you some more news later.
Sounds great, Nicky. Looking like quite the TV pro, sporting all that speed gear. Stage 8 is the day's first, and indeed the rally's longest. Using the virtual spectator, we can see how it steadily climbs uphill before running along a ridge and then descending again towards the finish. Now, it also includes some long straights, which should favor the Peugeots. The muddy road surface is expected, but there's also a few drier, more stony patches. And to further complicate the tire choice, there's even sections covered with slippery leaves. The top 15 run in reverse order on days 2 and 3, so the Skoda of Tony Gardemeister is first attacking the stage. The Czech team are one of 3 battling to finish 4th in the Manufacturers' Championship, but the Finn is a long way away from scoring any points. All 3 of the Hyundais are further up the leaderboard. Early in the stage, Armin Schwartz's Accent's rear bumper was damaged, and although the German didn't lose any time in the incident, things were about to turn nasty. Hyundai came into this rally really looking for a victory. They felt like this is the best gravel car that they've had ready to go racing with, and they think this could be a weekend where they could really challenge to make some noise. Hyundai is also already committed to Freddie Loix and Sven Spiets as one pairing for next year, and Armin Schwartz and Manfred Heimer, who you're watching here, as their other pair. They will only run a 2-car operation full-time next season. They feel that will be the best opportunity for them to get all their information together and really challenge some of the top teams for point-scoring positions at each and every round. Now, as Schwartz and co-driver Manfred Heimer drive on, watch behind them. Smoke, then flames mean the bumper's on fire. They quickly pull over to fight the blaze. Out of sight of our cameras, their teammates Juha Käkkönen and Juha Repo also stopped to help, a decision which cost the pair around a minute. By now, Sebastian Loeb was 9th, but his teammate Thomas Rodström would retire on stage 8 with engine failure. On board now with Loeb. Sebastian had been having problems all day long with his dashboard display, not able to get the information the way he wanted it.
Sur droitier ancienne, sur frein en quai pour centimètre, gauche 90 plus pas corde de trip. Gauche 90 plus pas corde de trip, 650 mètres.
And there's Schwartz in front of him, having the problems.
Gauche frein bout pour 80 mètres, gauche 90 plus.
Schwartz really had a tough day. He even lost the intercom in the opening stage, and Manfred Heimer had to use hand signals to communicate with him.
Gauche 90 plus. Gauche 90 plus, 150 mètres. Droite ferme 140 moins. 150 mètres, droite ferme 140 moins sur gauchy. Droite ferme 140 moins sur gauchy et droite 140 bon. Droite 140 bon, 100 mètres. Droite 140 bon, 100 mètres, léger gauchy. Léger gauchy sur droiti. Droiti 130 mètres, gauche 140 mi-court. Gauche 140 mi-court et gauche 140 moins mi-long. Gauche 140 moins mi-long, 100 mètres. Gauche 140.
On roads like this, when it's this slippery, to be fast, when you know you can do it, you really have to commit to the corner, no hesitation.
Frein pour droite 100 plus. Gauche 136 moins frein pour droite 100 plus. Droite 100 plus et droite à fond, ouvre frein pour gauche 110 mi-long. Droite à fond, ouvre frein pour gauche 110 mi-long. Sur droite à fond. Droite à fond et gauche 130 plus, pas corde.
As Schwartz slips out of the stage, around 10 minutes were lost. He would retire from the rally despite opening both windows to try and clear the fumes. At the end of the stage, it's clear he's in no shape to carry on.
Armin, there's a smell of burning in the car. You look like you're suffering. What happened?
We had a fire on the car just 3 kilometers into the stage. We could stop the fire because Stuart stopped to give us the fire extinguisher, but we had all the upgas come into the car for the whole stage. I'm finished now.
To the relief of the spectators, Colin McRae didn't repeat his costly error from the previous day's first stage. 7th fastest through Resolvent, he was 8th overall, but ahead of the Scotsman, the leaderboard looked a little different.
6 left over long crest, 50. 6 left over crest. And 6 left through gate, opens and tightens and 3 right plus slippy. Opens.
Tommy Mäkinen was another driver who'd had problems on the slippery opening stages of day 1. To the disgust of the 4-time world champ, day 2 didn't look to be going any better.
Ja lyhyt vasen tosi kapea 4. Pirun pitkä paha vasen tiukka kivet sisään. 3. Lyhyt vasen ja pitkä oikee miinus ylös aukee.
Tommy's not having a lot of fun this weekend, but after Australia, before he came to get ready for the Rally of Great Britain, he did find some time to get a little skiing in.
Heti vasen nopea oikasen vähän 120. Pitkä oikein nopea miinus aukee heti. Huomio 2 alas. Pirun pitkä paha vasen sisältä. Ja pitkä nyppy oikealle 15 alas.
That spin meant Mäkinen was just 8th quickest.
Pitkä nyppy oikealle alas 15. Pitkä oikein nopea plus helppo aukee heti. 160. Nyppy vasemmalle täys 3. Huomio, lyhyt helppo oikee yli, heti kapea, lyhyt helppo vasen sisältä tarkasti 4. Lyhyt helppo vasen miinus aukee heti 8, lyhyt helppo oikee plus aukee heti 9. Pitkä nyppy vähän vasemmalle täys 120.
With the long stages favoring the Peugeots, Richard Burns sensed his chance to move up the order and into the points.
Slight left to slight left. 60 over crest, 40, fast right and fast right minus, to flat right there, the long crest fast left, minus in, to flat right.
So Burns does gain back ground on both McRae and Mäkinen. Stay with us, we're coming right back with more from Stage 8 in a minute. Welcome back to the Rally of Great Britain. Ford had taken the gamble of removing the spare wheels from their cars on day 2. That helped Carlos Sainz be the best of the non-Peugeot drivers through Resolvent. But the battle for second place was attracting the most attention. Marco Martin stormed through the stage again without a spare tire in an attempt to make up those 2.5 seconds.
It was difficult in places. Some places were quite slippy, but to be honest, it wasn't too bad. Even the sun wasn't too bad, so it was a reasonable stage, just very long.
Well, Martin had thrown down the challenge, but how would Solberg react?
13. Right into 4, right minus, right skin in, opens to keep right to the crest and slow 2 left wings.
There's your answer.
I couldn't do any more. I pushed hard and seems like they took me quite a lot, both of the Fords.
While second place had changed hands, the lead was secure. Not that that meant Grönholm was easing off. He was fastest yet again, completing an all-Peugeot top 3 on the stage to extend that lead even further.
Vasen täys, 8. Tai oikein jouhea, soppu. Ja nyppy vasen täys, oikein täys.
Since the fight to finish 4th in the Manufacturers' Championship is a 3-way affair, we've asked a virtual spectator to compare a Skoda, a Mitsubishi, and the 2 Hondais. When Käkkinen stops to help Schwartz, just watch Delacour and Gardemeister disappear off into the distance. Grönholm's lead was now over 1 minute and 7 seconds, while that weight-saving gamble had paid off for Ford, and Martin was now up to second. Burns' charge meant he was now 6th and in the points, while both Mackin and McRae had slipped a place to make way for the Englishman. At service, Harmon Schwartz's rally was over.
Unfortunately, Armin had some major problems this morning. What happened?
Early on in the first stage this morning, it looks like the exhaust has taken an impact from a rock or something, and that's dislodged it. Unfortunately, that set fire to the rear bumper. They put the fire out, but the fumes are pulled straight in through the tailgate, and Armin feels quite sick as a result of that.
Do you think he's going to continue the rally?
No, I think we'll pull him. He does feel quite unwell. There's nothing to be gained, so we'll pull the car here and now.
As a team boss, you must be very, very pleased with Marco Martin's performance so far.
Yeah, I think he's done a fantastic performance. We made a sort of a strategic plan this morning to try and get the car as light as possible in the most crucial stage. It took a bit of a gamble. We sent him and Carlos without spare wheels, etc. But if you look, the gamble has paid off.
If he would have had a puncture, it would have been a big problem, but luckily there was no problem, so it was attack mode, but now we have to go back to safe because there's so many changes without service.
Yes, at the moment, long stage work okay this morning, no problems. Just a couple of punctures, but the moves this time work really well, so no problems at all, yes.
Well, the gamble paid off for those sneaky Ford guys. They're moving up. They're in the hunt. Stage 9, Kraken, is the Rally Great Britain's shortest Ford stage and will be repeated as Stage 11. Former British champ Mark Higgins is the Ford team's test driver and has been given a focus for his home event. Higgins debuted on the rally circuit in his native country back in 1987. He's a former 4-time national go-karting champ.
Then left 6 long, then max right over crest, 120, left 6, going left over 90 to right 3 plus, 40, well, going left over 90 to right 3 plus 40, right 2
The 1997 British Rally champ has even raced Volkswagen Beetles and Lamborghinis. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum.
140, right 5 over crest, 50, max left, 70, right 6 long over crest.
10th going into the stage, Higgins is one of the first to discover a low branch overhanging the road on co-driver Brian Thomas' side of the car.
Tightens in, 60, right 2 plus nip. Speed right 2 plus nip.
Mark Higgins actually finished second here in the States in this year's SCCA Pro Rally Championship.
Right 6 opens, then tightens to 4 fast slippy, nip. And left 4. Opens, 50. Max right over crest, then max left okay, 70. Right 6, 90, crest 70, turn tight left 1 plus.
Plenty of others would find that same branch.
Oikein olisi yli, pidä sisällä, Para a fondo.
On board now with Carlos Sainz. His windshield is intact for now.
Para a fondo, rasante derecha rápida menos, 2. Izquierda rápida menos, sería ras a fondo, 1. Rasante izquierda rápida ras, rasante derecha buena más corta, poco posible, quinta. Abrirse 1, derecha acá. Abrirse 1. Derecha acá en cuarta de tierra ras, páralo. Cuarta. Acaba rasante fondo en derecha, abrirse 1. Derecha rápida menos de tierra y mucho ras a fondo. Para izquierda rápida de tierra ras. Para
Here it comes. There it goes.
Para atención rama. Para rápida de para 2. Izquierda rápida como cuando montar y de mucho. Izquierda rápida como montar y de mucho. Para 1.
Look at that windshield.
Derecha buena más ojo de tierra con 3.
How important is it now for Carlos Sainz to take second in the World's Championship for drivers? With Ford falling in love with Marco Martin and Francois Duval, Colin McRae moving over to Citroën next year, and Hyundai saying, we don't have room for you, Carlos. We're only going to take 2 cars next year. He's got to get this second place to keep his resume looking good and keep his value high at Ford. Ford might think they need at least one veteran on board to help coach and train their two young future stars. One thing is for sure, even if Carlos does finish second in the World Championship, he's going to take a pay cut. Hard to believe you finish second in the World Championship, even in the top 5, and you got to take a pay cut. Colin McRae would be 0.3 of a second quicker than Tommy Mäkinen through the stage, but slower than teammate Sainz. Despite a warning from Mark Higgins, the 95 world champ would be yet another victim of the overhanging tree branch.
To sector 8 over Crane. 30 left, paints to 5.
As Ford frantically arranged to helicopter in new windshields to the next regroup, Sebastian Loeb quietly continued the learning process. Citroën had come to Wales to learn, and so a finish in the points would be a bonus. Burns also clipped the branch, but it seemed to bounce off the Peugeot. Everything seems to bounce off of these cars this year. Again, second quickest on the stage, Burns had now moved to within 5 seconds or so, snatching 5th place, teammate Harry Rovanperä.
80, fast right, minus, tightens, and makes a brake plus in.
Rovanperä is reunited with Risto Pitalainen for the final round of the series after the co-driver's absence due to illness. The two Finns were exactly 5 seconds slower through Kraken than Burns and Reed. With the spare wheel back in the focus, Marco Martin and Michael Park again tried to open up an advantage over Petter Solberg and Phil Mills.
100 short easy left 4 minus right. 53 right.
But the Norwegian and his Welsh co-driver weren't giving up on that second place too easily.
Early 6 right minus into very slippy 4 left plus, into 4 right minus tightens very slippy, opens.
They clawed their way back nearly 3.5 seconds from the Ford pair. Solberg seemingly far happier with their performance than Mills.
You think I was good now? Huh? Very good.
Marcus Grönholm and Timo Rautiainen were concerned about a hydraulic problem, and as a result, they were only 3rd fastest, leaving Solberg to take the honors. It hardly mattered, though. They still had a massive lead.
Hae vasen täys. 120. Vasen laita oikein miinus ahdas. 7 ja oikein nopea.
Martin, Solberg, and Sainz are definitely the ones to watch. Just 13 seconds separating positions 2 through 4. 2 of the 3 have a chance at second place in the championship, and 2 of the 3 are still looking for that first win. A lot of hungry guys racing in the Welsh forest. Welcome back to the 14th and final round of the year for the World Rally Championship in Great Britain. Stage 10, halfway, uses a section of tarmac and an army training area, as well as the halfway forest itself. Now that stretch of asphalt plus a suspension change must have inspired Sebastian Loeb. He and co-driver Daniel Elena were second fastest on the stage, a performance which drew praise from the Citroën team management. After Solberg's fastest time on the previous stage, it was once again a Peugeot which topped the timesheets. Richard Burns shaving nearly 2 seconds off of Loeb's time. In another of the silver cars, Harry Rovanperä had virtually no brakes and had broken the rear left wheel bearing, so the 206 limped through the stage, losing nearly 40 seconds in a position to Burns. Harry's problems meant Colin McRae was also closing on the Finn. Less than 5 seconds now separated the pair, with McRae having moved past Mäkinen after a good tire choice helped him to take 10 seconds off the Subaru driver on the stage. Sainz, like the others, would get a new windshield after this stage, but at least a broken glass was on Luis Moya's side of the car. 6th fastest, the Spanish pair lost over 4 seconds to McRae and Derek Ringer. In the battle for second, Martin was also quicker than Sainz, and so was clearly on the pace. The Estonian, though, felt he'd made a poor tire choice for the slippery conditions. Solberg again attacked. Second place was almost within reach, although his rally very nearly ended on the tarmac section.
All right, tightens, keep in over crest. Into cut, right, left over crest, 30, slippy, short, 4 right, plus. Opens to keep right into neat, 6 left over jump path long, 180. Keep right of a long crest, 40, 6 left long, gravel maybe, opens, 60. Flat crest, 80. Out of a long crest, 200.
The gap is now down to just 3.5 seconds. So while the battle rages behind, Marcus Grönholm is on cruise control up front. How much does tying the record for wins in a season mean to him? His run coming up. Welcome back to the Rally of Great Britain. Ralph Shaheen with you for day 2. As a leader, Marcus Grönholm heads from the slippery gravel onto stage 10's even more slippery tarmac, but he's in a relaxed mood. The sun is shining. He's got a lead of over a minute. What's to worry?
8. Ja oikein helppo. 8. Aivan eri jouheen. 7. Nyt oikea laita täys. 100.
Due to his hydraulic problem, Marcus had stopped using the gear shift behind the steering wheel and was starting to shift with the more traditional on-the-floor mode.
7 oikein eri. Ai saatana. Se vähän osui siihen sumppuun sit. Lähteekö käyntiin? Onks tää ihan rikki? Mitä mä tein oikein?
Well, the motor still fires, but I don't think this Peugeot's going anywhere.
Oisko siinä ollut Se oli liukattu vaan. Just alas vaihtamisen kai. Paukut pois. What? Okei. PC Fortimo. We have rolled on the stage and we have to retire. We are both okay, but the car is not okay.
You can see that we went off, but it was a little bit funny because I had a hydraulic problem and I was not 100% concentrated. I was shifting with a manual gear shifting and the diffs were not working correctly. That was a part of the reason, but okay, anyway, I could have slowed down a bit.
Well, Marcus wouldn't be the only victim of the stage. On board with Mitsubishi's Yannick Paasonen as he approaches the scene. Seems to be going fine.
Kirra, oikein, -3. Lyhyt on se helppo, +3, lyhyt oikein.
In fact, this is Paasonen's first time driving the car in wet conditions.
Oikein hidas riste, 8. Lyhyt oikein täys, 5, vasen helppo plus pitkä. 5.
And it's his first time here at the Rally Great Britain.
Yli, 100. Asfaltille nyppy vähän vasen helppo plus 4, oikein K yli, sumppu. Varo liukas, lyhyt oikein helppo plus.
It's never fun explaining that to the team manager, but at least Yanni can say, hey, even the world champ rolled right there.
Olla.
Yanni was possibly distracted by the marshals warning him of Grönholm's accident. So 2 Finns, 2 retirements within just a few feet of each other. Yanni's accident left Francois Delacour as Mitsubishi's only remaining hope for points. The Frenchman did make it safely past the scene of the double retirement. I'm Obviously, Delacour found the same tree branch as everybody else. Francois is only 85% healthy this weekend. You might remember he had a vicious hit at the Rally Australia, which knocked his co-driver out of competition this weekend. Francois is wearing a body brace to help him cope with his injuries.
150 mètres ciel et droite 120 cordes, pas posé, 400 mètres après. Donc pas posé, 400 mètres. Droite 115 ballons plein de cordes. 115 ballons plein de cordes plus gauche à fond de corde.
Francois and his co-driver this week, Dominique Savignoni, have worked together. In fact, they worked on Francois' gravel crew for the last 2 years, and they finished 4th at the Rally Monte Carlo back in 1999.
C'est ta faute. Pourquoi?
J'étais dans le 115, Doumé, putain de bordel. Il était trop tard. Ils m'ont annoncé 10 fois trop tard. 10 fois trop tard, Doumé, 10 fois trop tard.
Obviously, Francois putting the blame on his co-driver.
10 fois trop tard. 100 fois trop tard.
Big crash again, but we are okay, and I think it's not easy for sure for Dominic because it was the first WRC for him, and he has not so much experience, and I was not expecting that, but for sure it can happen.
Thank you very much.
Well, Grunholm wasn't expecting his incident as well, but our own Nicky Grist has been there before, and he's got his take on it.
We're going to have a look now at what happened to Marcus and Timo on special stage halfway. They're just exiting the forest here, still on a gravel road and accelerating up to 6th gear. They'll be pulling a lot of speed here. They're coming up to a crossroads shortly at Dixie's, where last year we turned right. Now we're going to turn straight ahead onto a new piece of road, onto Tarmac. Here we are over the crossroads. He's coming over the crest into this right-hand corner. 15 cars have cut here already. A lot of mud on the road. He's drifted wide, hit the ditch on the outside, and rolled heavily across the road. As you can see, there's a lot of wheels flying around there. He's not going to go any further, but it shows how strong these cars are. If you have a look, the shell is intact.
As I mentioned before on gravel, Marcus likes to stay to the inside as long as possible to cover the biggest distance possible in a straight line, but it doesn't leave him a lot of room for error, and it didn't there.
Tommy, everybody's coming in with broken windscreens. What happened out there?
There was some, I don't know, was it some tree or whatever? It was so bad I had to slow down. The visibility was completely terrible. Just this hole here.
Carlos, the rally's wide open again now. Are you ready for a big fight?
Yes, actually, we have been the whole rally fighting with Peter and Marco, and now obviously it's more open.
Petter, you've won your first stage of the rally. You're just 3.5 seconds behind Marco Martin. Do you think you can catch him?
Yeah, it's completely different stages, and it fits me and the car much better. So now it's possible again. I said it before, so yeah.
Now you're leading. You feeling any more pressure?
There is no. I mean, the same fight continues. Really, Max was just doing his own rally again, so the rest of us were just fighting. So I think the battle continues. Just I think the reward is not first place, not the second place.
Stage 11 and a rerun of the Rally Great Britain's shortest test, Crockett. By now, Tommy Mäkinen was fighting his own private battle with Colin McRae, nearly 3 seconds apart going into stage 11. The Impreza would move ahead again by the smallest of margins, just 1/10 of a second. Carlos Sainz is still a long way ahead of that battle, but only 18 seconds separates his Ford from the Subaru in second place, so a late attack is still a possibility. Attacking was the last thing on Harry Rovanpera's mind. The broken wheel bearing meant he'd lose nearly a minute and drop from 5th to 8th. Due to his problems, Harry even had to disconnect the back brakes.
Hyppy yli oikein täys loiva. 102. Hae vasen helppo sisältä, jatkaa vasen eri plus. Aukee 7.
With the brakes being disconnected, Harry had to find other ways to slow the car. You can hear him downshifting.
Jatkaa. Vasen täys 100.
Hae oikein täys loiva ja roiku oikein eri miinus. Kirraa liukas.
With Grunholm out, that means the fight for second to become a battle for victory.
6 left slippy. 100 easy right, tightens to 6 minus hole, tightens to 4.
Marco Martin's first race car was a Lada Samara, which he bought from his uncle.
40, easy left. 76 minus left narrow, flat right.
Marco's first WRC event was the Rally of Finland back in 1997, which he contested in a Toyota.
4 right, tightens and opens to 5 minus. 6 minus left, 5 plus right long, slippy maybe, entry. Crest, flat left, 100, 3 plus left. 5 right tightens, 50, 6 minus left, 70, flat left, 20 crest, 40, 6 minus right fast.
Marco Martin and co-driver Michael Park, whose nickname is Beat, teamed up for the first time back in 2000.
4 minus left narrow. Crest and flat right, tightens too easy. Goes 70, 6 minus right in, slippy. 40 slippy, crest and 2 plus left. 50, 5 left, tightens to 4 minus, narrow slippy. 80, 6 minus right. 30 slippy maybe, 4 right over crest.
How much momentum would it be for Marco Martin and Michael Park, neither one of which have ever won a World Rally event, to win this last race of the year and carry that momentum into next year when they could be the top dogs at 4.
5 minus right, keep in.
After the frustration of the day's first stage, Solberg had been quicker than Martin on every other. Stage 11 looked to be no different. Two of old rallying stars of the future within tenths of a second of each other, with the Subaru again just marginally quicker. Just one more stage to go in the forest, and the numbers tell the story. This is still anybody's to win. Time now for our crowd favorite, the onboard section here on Speed Channel from the Rally Great Britain. We start things off with Jani Passanen.
5. Oikein täys yli. 100. Asfaltille nyppy vähän vasen helppo plus 4. Oikein K yli sumppu. Varo liukas. Lyhyt oikein helppo plus.
Carlos Sainz and co-driver Luis Moya next.
Abrirse, 1. Derecha que en cuarta de tierra atrás, paro. Cuarta esa. Acaba bajando de fondo a derecha, abrirse, 1. Derecha rápida, pero menos se cierra y mucho gas a fondo. Para izquierda rápida se cierra ras. Para atención, para atención rama. Queréis buscar la otra rápida, se para 2, izquierda rápida, juego de canta por montar, y la mucho. Izquierda rápida, por montar, y la mucho. Para 1.
Now we ride with Tommy Mäkinen and Kai Lindström.
Oikein nopea pikkupomppu sisään. 3. Vähän liukas lopusta, oikein nopea risteys. Oikasen aukeaa heti. 150. Helppo oikein plus 4. Vasen täys 7. Pitkä oikein täys yli, pidä sisällä 140. Huomio lyhyt vasen eri dos, vähän tiukka jatkuu heti K vasen plus dos ylös.
And finally, the world champions, Marcus Grunholm and his co-driving brother-in-law, Timo Rautiainen.
Nyt oikea laita täys 100. Vaseri jouheen risteys. Ja nyppy 7, oikein nopea sumppu. 7, oikein eri. Se vähän osui siihen sumppuun.
Stay with us, we're coming right back on Speed. Stage 12 is the day's last proper stage before another sprint around the Cardiff Super Special. Burns was 6th quickest, hoping to avoid repeating Grunholm's mistake on the same stage earlier in the day.
It's a long crest 10, flat left, long 40, fast right.
McRae went into the stage just 1/10 of a second behind Mäkinen. The Ford driver also driving carefully, but still badly wanting to snatch 5th place away from the Subaru.
150. Pitkä helppo vasen. 150. Nyppy täys. 200 maaliin.
It wasn't to be. The gap had now grown to nearly 1.5 seconds. Sainz would head for the Super Special in 3rd, nearly 26 seconds behind the battle for the lead, but perfectly placed should either of the pair ahead of him have a mistake. Martin again attacked, well aware that the rally's final day looks set to be a classic. An Estonian and an English co-driver will do battle with a Norwegian and a Welshman. Solberg and Mills again just having the upper hand on stage 12.
Into 6 right crest, half long, 18. Keep right of a long crest, 40, 6 left long, gravel maybe, open 16. Flat crest, 18. Right of a long crest, 200. Okay, all done.
Just 1.8 seconds separating Martin and Solberg with only the Super Special to run. Sainz, Burns, Mäkinen, and McRae will all have to wait and see what will happen tomorrow, while 9th place will be enough for Freddie Loyce to give Hyundai 4th place in the Manufacturers Series.
Feeling any pressure at all?
No, I think it's just great fight. Would be nice if we can really fight it to the end and see what happens. So it's not going to be easy, but would be interesting at least.
We're gonna do our best. You know, you can't go like crazy either. To maybe lose the place we have, but it's gonna get a good fight. But I could have been so good fun to get on the podium in the World Championship, and that's the plan. And but we have to win.
We have seen many years, most experienced drivers, all young. Doesn't matter whatever it is. It's very easy to make a mistake, and anybody can go off.
But what a battle up front with Petter Solberg and Marco Martin. Marco Martin, 1.8 seconds in the lead. A young driver who's got the go-ahead from Team Boss to actually try and win this event. And I think it's really possible. Petter Solberg, another youngster who's desperate to win his first WRC event, I think has got a very good chance. But can one of them get through without making a mistake tomorrow? The pressure's most definitely on them. Behind them, you've got Carlos Sainz. It looks like it could be the end of his rallying career. Of course, he'd love to finish on a high. But with probably taking 27 seconds out of those leading two, who are almost definitely on a charge, I think it's going to be a tall order. And unless they run into trouble up front, I would say Carlos won't have a chance. Richard Burns, how he spoke to him earlier, he's 56 seconds behind. He said there's no way he can catch these guys. He said they're absolutely on a charge. He said he tried on the last 2 stages, but he had no chance whatsoever. Tonight, they only have the Super Special left in Cardiff for an overnight sleep, and then, of course, out for the battle tomorrow in the stages around South Wales. I'll come back to you tomorrow with more news on weather conditions and the possible outcome. Until then, goodbye.
Hi, Nicky's really getting in all his TV stuff. He's doing more costume changes than J-Lo. Thanks, Nicky. You can catch same-day coverage of Lane 3 tomorrow here on Speed. Will it be Petter Solberg or Marco Martin who will finally score their first World Rally victory? What a day it was, just when it looked like the